So my name is Ollie. I'm currently a tech support advisor at Sage. Had a history of doing marketing roles and stuff, and I've got a long-term view of getting to the PR and marketing side with my experience and stuff and qualifications. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. But on the side, I've had some sort of experience of doing some freelance work, photography, as well as doing it as part of my marketing roles in the past. I guess from the photography side it came probably like travel photography, because I think it was like many people through the development of technology and your smartphones and stuff, you now have like a camera in your pocket. So I started like getting Instagram and stuff, going on holiday. I think probably that the main trip I went to when I went to America, and I was using my phone taking nice like travel shots and stuff, and lots of people really liked them, that kind of thing. And my friend at the time had his proper DSLR camera, which is what I ended up buying afterwards. So after that trip I started getting a bit more in photography, just using my phone. Then bought his camera, but then I was trying to do a qualification in PR and stuff, and the whole like photography and marketing thing is so intertwined that like the use of imagery is so important when you're using stuff on social media, on websites, and email, all sorts of marketing. So and then I guess the main kind of stuff I liked to do was like travel photography and stuff, but that was more of a hobby. And then when into the marketing side, when I was doing stuff for where I worked for their websites and stuff, it was a range of doing like portrait photography or sort of, when I say action photography, but when then an event's going on and you're getting photos or something. And I did a lot for actually the Great Exhibition in the North. So the rocket was on at the Discovery Museum, and I took some photos for them, and the idea was, I didn't get paid for it, but the idea was I could do stuff in-house for them, which would save them money doing stuff, getting professional photographers to do it. And especially where I was working, where the budget's so tight, that was like really useful. And then with my experience of doing PR, I did some freelance work where I did both PR and mixed in the photography as well. So sort of put it as like a joint bundle. So which this sort of games venue in Sunderland found really useful. So I did some photography for them, and the photography I used was then what I used for the press release for them as well. So I'm trying to do a bit more portrait photography, and thankfully someone a couple of months ago actually saw some of my work from going on a social photography walk around Newcastle, where we'd got the practice doing portrait photography, and they liked it so much they actually asked me to do some freelance work for them the following week. Most of my Instagram is a lot of photos for places I've been, so like something I mentioned earlier, like I like a lot of travel photography and that kind of thing. And when I first heard about Veritent, it was actually through word of mouth. So one of my friends, I'd just been on holiday to Rome, got what I thought was some nice photos, and my friends agreed, which was really nice of them to say. And they sort of told me that they'd heard about this tool that sort of tracked where your photos have been used. And I knew obviously on Instagram that things do get shared and images get used in other people's profiles that you're not always aware of, because unless you're tagged in it and that kind of thing, it's not an easy way to track it. And they said that they'd been trialing it, and just, oh, do you want me can I just try one of your images just to see if it's turned up in anything? So used one of my photos from Rome, and then they told me it'd been on an Italian tourist website, which I had no idea about. So yeah, and that was, at first it was like kind of cool, thinking, oh yeah, it's nice that clearly they've chosen it because they like the image and that kind of thing. And then obviously I did have the thought about, oh, is this a sort of copyright issue and that kind of thing? Should they be using it? I'm lucky in the position where, because I'm only like an amateur photographer that does the occasional freelance and stuff, I'm not reliant on my photography work for an income. But I guess it was kind of cool knowing that images were wanting to be used, but I guess the actual ability to be able to track where it's being used, say in the future I wanted it to become a lot more priority in my life for my work, I could be able to track things, know where they're being used. I have the option of wanting to ask them to take it down if I was wanting to go down that avenue, but I could also use it as an opportunity to maybe say, oh well, you like using my work and stuff, I've got loads of other images that you might want to use, maybe you would like to use them more just for a price, because it is my work and that kind of thing. Yeah, it does provide the opportunity to do a lot, possibly get future work and that kind of thing. Or at the very least, for someone like myself who's always going to add to their portfolio, at least I could say, well, on this occasion, yeah, feel free to use that photo, but can I at least be credited for it? You don't have to pay me for it this time, but then I can add that to my portfolio. So for any future jobs I can at least point to that.